Right team, this is how you're going to set up your macros, your meal plan and everything you need to know about your nutrition to get the absolute most out of your diet and make the most amount of progress possible. This is how I set up all the team's nutrition so they can get transformations like this while enjoying their diet and not feeling starving 24/7. The first thing that we want to work out is your calories. The easiest way to do this, if you don't know how to, is to use a TDEE calculator. You can just Google this, type your info in and it will spit you out your calorie goals. Now this won't be exact, but it will give you a rough idea of your maintenance calories. Now you can trial that for a week or two, see how your weight moves. If it goes down, you know your maintenance calories is going to need to be slightly higher. If your weight starts to go up, you know that's too high and your maintenance calories will actually be slightly below that. So once we know the calories we're sticking to, we need to split that into macros. The number one thing we should be prioritising and the thing we want to look at first is going to be roughly protein wise, we never want to go below a gram per pound of body weight, but this can be up to 1.5 grams per pound. Where you land between the 1 and 1.5 grams is going to come down to preference. It's how well are you digesting your protein sources, how much are you enjoying the protein sources that you eat, and how many meals each day is this getting split into. If you're only splitting it into 3 meals, I wouldn't be going upwards of that 1.5 gram per pound, but if I'm splitting it between 5 or 6 meals a day, I think that's absolutely fine. At the end of the day, it's your diet. The more you enjoy it, the more you're going to get out of your diet, so mess about with this and find what works best for. The next macro we're going to work out is going to be your fat intake. Generally, your fat intake is something most people overlook, but we always want to make sure we've got a good amount of healthy fats in your diet. These help with joint health, hormone production, and so many other things within the body. It cannot be over. Roughly, we want to aim for 0.3 to 0.4 grams of fat per kilogram of body weight from whole, good, healthy fat source. Our fat intake is going to land slightly higher than that just because of trace fats and our sort of carb and protein sources, but don't worry about that. So if you're someone that weighs 100 kilograms, for example, we'd be looking to get in a minimum of 220 grams of protein per day and a minimum of 30 grams of fat from good, whole, healthy fat sources. Once your protein and fat targets are established, the rest of your diet is going to be made up of carbohydrates. Your carbs is going to be your primary fuel for training and your primary fuel towards your goals. But we don't need to work this out and overcomplicate it. Once you've got your protein and fat targets set and you know how many calories and grams per day you're accounting for that, the rest of your diet can just be made up from carbs. Once we've got this worked out, we're going to look at how we split it across the day. We want to be splitting it anywhere from 3 to 5 meals per day. This is going to come down to preference and how much time you've got available. Personally, being on the higher end of 4 or 5 meals a day works best, but anything from 3 upwards is absolutely fine. So protein wise, we want to be splitting that evenly between how many meals we've got each day. It can maybe fall slightly lower in the pre-workout meal just to not slow digestion down too much, but generally we can split it evenly. So generally, if you're eating 150 grams per day, for example, and you're eating 5 meals per day, we want to split that into 5 30 grams. Then we're going to look at splitting our carbs and fats up. They can sort of fall wherever you prefer, but the two things we want to focus on is getting plenty of carbs before and after training. It's going to be our main fuel to help progress our sessions and also our main fuel to help recover from our sessions. So we always want to have our 2 biggest carb meals per day before and after training. I like to aim for at least a gram of carbs per kilogram of body weight. So I'm about 80 kilograms, for example, so I like to get in at least 80 grams of carbs. Especially during my push-ups, this is the sort of minimum I aim for, and I end up going well and above this. I find the more carbs you can get in pre-training, the better your training will be. Then, like I said, distributing fats can come down to preference as well. The only thing we want to make sure is that we're not getting too many fats pre-training. Your fat is going to be your slowest digestion macro, so if we slow down digestion too much, you're not getting the carbs through that you need for training. So generally, a pre-workout meal will be the highest in carbs, but the lowest in fat. Outside of that, don't stress about your fat intake too much, just split it how you enjoy it throughout the day. Now that is the best way to split up our nutrition to get the absolute most out of our diet and meal plan to bring us the best amount of progress we can possibly get. Like I said, this is what I've done personally and what I've done with so many members of the team. But the biggest thing to focus on when building your meal plan around these macro targets is getting it in from good quality whole foods that the body can digest. If you're hitting your 200 grams of protein goal every single day, but you're hitting it through chicken nuggets, you're going to be feeling absolutely terrible. We want to get it in from good quality whole foods. I'm talking stuff like chicken, turkey, fish, mince, different things like that. It's the exact same with our carb options. The easiest option's always going to be rice for your carbs. It's going to be the easiest thing for the body to digest. But other good options is stuff like potatoes, oats, sourdough, pasta, different things like that. Then your fat intake. This is always the one where if people are eating clean for their carbs and protein sources, they're generally eating shit for their fat intake. But again, it's so important for hormone health and joint health, and we always want to make sure we're getting into clean options, stuff like olive oil, avocado, nut butters, dark chocolate, different things like that. The cleaner the foods we're eating are, and the better that we digest them, the more we'll be able to put them to use in the gym, and the more progress we'll make in the long term. And that is the easiest way to set up your calories, your macros, and your meal plan going forward. It doesn't matter what phase you're in, building your diet around this is so beneficial and leads to so much more progress when you're on the ball with things like this. If you need more help with your nutrition, your training, or anything like that, you can head over to my Instagram. You can give me a message and ask any questions you've got. There'll also be a link in my bio that will take you straight to my WhatsApp if you're interested in coaching or just have any questions that you'd like answered. You'll also find on there a link to download my Skinny Fat to Jacked guide. It's the blueprint of what I use with every single one of my clients to maximise their progress. Hope you found this interesting. I appreciate anyone taking the time to watch this. Any questions, comment below.